Columbine by Dave Cullen is a vivid novel sharing a look inside teenage killers' minds, lies told to the media, and effects on a community, or even the world, after the school shooting of 1999. Columbine is more than a tragedy. It is a high school that sits among rolling hills in Littleton, Colorado. It appeared to be a normal school full of preps, jocks, druggies, and nerds, but within the crowd there were Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. Eric was a leader, a man of many ideas with the patience to bring them to action. A deep thinker, not afraid to tell a lie, but despised when he got caught, which was hardly ever. He had a strong hate for the world and wished hell upon us all. Dylan, on the other hand, was a follower. He did as he was told and acted like Eric because he wanted to fit in. He seemed happy on the outside, but secretly he was struggling with hatred for himself and wished to die. In his mind, it always came down to either I will kill myself or find someone who loves me. In a nutshell, both Eric and Dylan enjoyed violent video games, loved firearms, and thought the human race was corrupt. After their deaths, both were diagnosed with a mental illness. Eric was a psychopath, and Dylan had depression. Psychopaths. Eric Harris, the mastermind behind Columbine, was a young psychopath. Psychopathy is a mental disorder distinguishable by two characteristics. The first characteristic is a ruthless disregard for others, and the second is an astonishing ability to disguise the first. Eric was a genius at hiding his true intentions. In fact, he was often described as charming, manipulative, and cunning. Eric's diagnosis as a psychopath didn't solve the crime, but it laid the foundation for why. Eric wrote in one of his journals, "I will choose to kill," and there were only two reasons that he killed. One was to demonstrate his superiority, and the second was for fun. Understanding Dylan's reasons for murder would prove to be a lot more difficult. One thing known for sure was that Dylan and Eric were dyad, which is a murderous pair that feed off each other. Gun control. The Columbine High School shooting reignited gun control debate. At the time, it was the most deadly school shooting in American history. A month after the shooting, the Senate passed a bill requiring background checks for firearm sales of gun shows. The bill's Vice President Al Gore had deciding votes, which also required child safety trigger locks to be sold with guns. Never passed the House.
Wow, get with it.
The school shooter protocol. One of the most important takeaways from Columbine is the development of school shooter protocol. The major flaw with the evacuation safety of the students and the staff was the lack of training and awareness. Nobody knew what to do, so they panicked, which in turn jeopardized their safety. The only one who seemed to have any poise and control was Dave Sanders, the teacher and coach who took hundreds of students to safety before being fatally shot while leading a final group. Today, a standard protocol is a lockdown procedure that is standard at most schools. It involves putting construction paper over the door to prevent seeing inside, turning the lights off, gathering everyone in the corner, and colored safety cars to indicate the situation in the classroom. Most schools have an on-site police officer in places where students can anonymously report suspicious activity, but some schools are even starting to install metal detectors at the entrances. This protocol has prevented countless potentially dangerous situations, but there are still some that couldn't be avoided. Where's Lydia?
SWAT team.
SWAT team. Religion. The religious group of the local areas around Columbine were looked to as a way for people to cope and recover from the shooting. While at times some religious groups did have a positive impact, for example, one of the churches organized a private service for Dylan's parents rather than turn them away. However, the author of the book makes it sound like many of the evangelical Christian groups were quick to jump at the chance to recruit new members. They were also quick to use people's death stories based on rumors, specifically the death of Cassie Burnell, who became viewed as a martyr until an FBI investigation proved the rumor wrong. The Crosses incident was another incident of a person trying to garner fame by the playing of people's emotions through the use of religious symbols by placing 15 crosses on a hill bearing the names of all the people who died. SWAT team. The Columbine High School shooting was in need of help. Police officers showed up and shot fire at the gunmen and used their cars as shields. The SWAT team was called in at 11 o'clock but did not arrive at the scene until 12 o'clock. The Jefferson County SWAT team was the first to arrive. There were complaints going around because of the of the delay of the SWAT members to move in. A teacher, Coach Dave Saunders, was bleeding to death in the classroom. He was lying there for 3 hours with a sign up against the window that read, "One bleeding to death." The SWAT team had gotten there too late and he was without a pulse. Many were upset at the fact that the Special Weapons and Tactics team were so slow to acting on the situation. Also, while SWAT team was removing kids from the building, they had them running in plain sight in a single file line. Spectators were upset because they could have easily been shot on their escape route. Luckily, the gunman had already been lying there for 2 hours. In the end, the SWAT team got everyone out of the building and had to face the complaints of the reporters and parents. The media. What the media showed live on television was an illusion. Though they filmed what was occurring, they allowed teachers to draw the wrong conclusions. The swarm of police outside suggested the same number inside the school, when in reality the officers took hours to enter Columbine. The media spread rumors as people tried to find the killer's motives. Eric and Dylan were portrayed as golf teams who were members of the Trench Coat Mafia, a group of close-knit loners. The myth stuck because it was memorable and it fit the mold of the stereotypical killer. Related events. The Virginia Tech Massacre was a school shooting that took place on April 16, 2007 on the campus of Virginia Polytechnic Institute State University in Blacksburg, Virginia. Sang-Hoo Cho, a senior at Virginia Tech, shot and killed 32 people and wounded 17 others in 2 separate attacks, approximately 2 hours apart, before committing suicide, and another 6 people were injured escaping from classroom windows. This massacre was the deadliest shooting incident by a single gunman in U.S. history. The Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting happened on December 14, 2012. Adam Lanza, a 20-year-old, fatally shot 20 children and 6 adult staff members in a mass murder at Sandy Hook Elementary School in the village of Sandy Hook, Newtown, Connecticut. Before driving to the school, Lanza shot and killed his mother, Nancy, at their Newtown home. At first, responders arrived. He committed suicide by shooting himself in the head. Sandy Hook is the second deadliest mass shooting by a single person in American history after the 2007 Virginia Tech Massacre. At Lone Star College on January 22, 2013, 3 people were injured in a shooting on a campus courtyard near the library. The gunman was heard arguing with a student and initially walked away, but returned and pulled out a handgun from his backpack. The gunman shot one student 3 times, and another man was hit in the leg by a bullet. The shooter accidentally shot himself in the butt. Witnesses said up to 6 shots were fired. Immediately after the shooting, the campus was evacuated and put on lockdown. The shooter fled into nearby woods and was followed by police officers who later apprehended him. Conclusion. We Are Columbine represents the togetherness of the Columbine community even after the deadliest tragedy known to Americans at that time. The end.